News First, face to face with Charlotte Benedict.
Hello there, very good evening. Welcome to another edition of Face to Face. Sri Lanka's politics keeps evolving day by day. Very recently we saw a first time in history of Sri Lanka where a minister was arrested and placed in remand custody. Usually that sort of thing doesn't happen in Sri Lanka, but it did happen, and now the minister of course has tendered his resignation and is no longer a member of cabinet. Who will be appointed in his stead? Will it be a new minister? Will it be someone who already holds a ministerial portfolio who just absorbs his portfolio that has now been left vacant? Besides this, of course, party politics in Sri Lanka is also quite upbeat. Parties are scrambling to see who they can muster to support their party and who they can finally support at the upcoming presidential election that has been announced as the election that is to come first by the president himself during the beginning of this year. Joining us to discuss these matters and much more is a person who's of course embroiled in the politics of Sri Lanka, not since recently, but since quite a long time ago. A former deputy speaker and the current general secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, Thilanga Sumathipala. Thank you very much, Mr. Sumathipala, for joining us on our program. And now to start off, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, out of all the political parties, of course, that are in the fray here in Sri Lanka, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party seems to be a party that is in turmoil the most. All political parties are in turmoil, but at least they have a sizable number of people supporting their parties. I'm not talking about voters, but I'm talking about people to really run the engine of the party. But what really has happened to the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, a massive party once led by former President Mahinda Rajapaksa in its prime? They had a massive number of seats in parliament, controlled government majority, and now scrambling to even appoint a general secretary to the party, or try and understand who is who in the party.
Well, Sean, thank you so much for inviting me to be this program, face to face. Well, from Freedom Party, the Sri Lanka Freedom Party's point of view, we initiated the former leader SWRD Bandaranaike initiated this party when there was a left movement on one side, Sama Samaj Communist Party, and then the other side when we had the United Freedom Party, which is United Party, which is UNP.
Yes.
So when the UNP and they were having two extremes, we selected the center and the middle path. So from SWRD Bandaranaike to Madam Sima Bandaranaike to Chandrika Bandaranaike, Madam Chandrika Bandaranaike to Mahinda Rajapaksa, from the President Rajapaksa to Sumathipala. If you look at almost 35 years, this country been ruled by the leader of the SLFP.
Yes.
So if you look at over last few years, the current president took over the party about 9 years ago. When he took over the party, we had 9 chief ministers and a cabinet of ministers, 125 members of parliament, and so on and so forth. We were quite strong, but the fact remains, after he contested under the support of UNP and got elected as the president, and when he became the leader of the party, then of course there was a national government formed between UNP and SLFP put together. Then of course Mahinda Rajapaksa had decided to form his own party, then half of our people went to SLPP.
These are all facts that are known by the general public. Then, where does the party stand now?
I'm coming into it now. When Gotabaya Rajapaksa was nominated by Mahinda Rajapaksa to be the presidential candidate, as a left movement, everyone decided to support him. As a result of, he has to step down, and his debacle, or the moment his leadership crashed, all the people who supported him, we all went haywire. The biggest ever betrayal happened in this country from political point of view. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, former president, decided to invite current president to be the prime minister on the 9th of May, after 9th of May.
That's the biggest betrayal.
Because for 50 years or more, we have always worked against Elephant, the UNP and Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe. The entire left wing was working against him. And here is a position where he never contested under the the SLPP Pohuttua. He was not a member of 125 members of, or 2/3 of people who got elected in the parliament. He only had, after losing Colombo district, he came from the nationalist. Invited him to take over the left wing was the biggest ever betrayal, in my opinion, from the political point of view. Because it's not within the party. You go before the people, you ask for a mandate, people vote for you for a manifest. And then you put a paper together, and here is a person who went against our manifest, contested and defeated so badly, and you invite him to take over the country. So as a party, we have decided not to vote for him, not to be part of his government last year. We have decided to stay out of his government after May last year, 2 years ago. Rather, then we, at the presidential election at the parliament, our party has decided to vote for Dala Salahapil. It was a matter of principle. So some of the people who were with us in the party, they against the wish of the party, against the rule of the party, or rather mandate of the party, we had a whip. We decided not to be part of it, but some people went and joined the government at that time. Some people after that again joined half of it. So almost 10 members out of 15 straight away went and joined the Ranil Wickremesinghe government, the present president's government. So from there onwards, the SLFP was trying to rebuild the whole party from the scratch. So we had Dayasri Jayasekara and former President Sumathipala Sirisena. We had a fabulous network. And then, of course, there was a court case and
regarding the General Secretary position.
And Honorable Nimal Siripala went to court and said his exit was wrong. He was unlawfully terminated. So he won the case in Court of Appeal. And then current president decided, or the current leader decided to invite him and to regroup with the party. So in the meantime, I was invited to take over UPFA as the General Secretary because Mahinda Amaravira was virtually sacked from the party, was terminated. So then he went to courts. He went to courts and filed action against UPFA. So he now wanted to come back, in which he came back to the party. My position is, you take the court case out first. You have to virtually apologize or say, what you have done is wrong, or you just withdraw your case from the courts. Once it is out of our way, then I can step down and regroup the party and then think of alliance. But even to date, my position is, if we are against the policies of Honorable Ranil Wickremesinghe, current president, if you are not with his principles, then if you are a party who has been against him and working against his policies, and then we can't be disagreeing with him, agree with the people who are serving in his party, with his government.
Yes.
So some of the ministers...
Last time I checked, Mahinda Amaravira is still a member of his parliament, of his cabinet.
He is a member of the cabinet and he is serving as cabinet minister.
Nimal de Silva is also
and also about another 6 ministers are state ministers. So then our position...
So but they are still with your party?
This is the problem, we have said, okay, even if you want to join the party back again, please leave from your portfolio, step down from your positions, come and take position, let's rebuild. But they would like to do timing, they would like to have a hold in there, enjoy all the perks and leadership or the position of the government, and also be part of the SLFP. So I don't know, with the one fine day when we go before people for the next election, they will respectfully remember us whether we have done the right thing. You see, SLFP cannot, it has never been part of Ranil Wickremesinghe government, and it is against the wish of the people at the grassroots level. Certain cases, I must say, certain things what current president is doing may be all right with our policies, but his success or his failures got nothing to do with SLFP. So we can't. Some of the people are saying Ranil Wickremesinghe is all right, he's doing well. So his success got nothing to do with us. It is his matter for the people who have appointed him, like Rajapaksa family wanted him there because he is the most trusted man in that family. So they have invited him to be the president of the country. So God bless them. Why should you, or why should we be bothered about current president, His Excellency Ranil Wickremesinghe's success or his failure? That is his forte. So our position is very clear. This government, we can't be part of it. Number two, even to date, our party has never agreed to be part of Ranil Wickremesinghe's government. Then all the left parties like Lanka Samaj Party, Communist Party, Mahajana Party, and all those left movement parties, leaders like D. Gunasekara, Tissa Vitarna, Vasudevan Anakara, then Navaratna, all these party leaders have agreed to discuss together to make sure current principles and policies are not what we want, so we want to work against them. Then on top of that, we can invite people who are like Dalasala Peruma, to the name of you, and to make sure we have a common agenda, common agreement amongst each other, consensus against each other, to work towards the next elections. So before we get our act together, principal agreements, we can't be inviting people who are currently with this government, who went against the wish of the party, went against the decision of the party, and for them to form an alliance and get together with them to form an alliance. Last 2 years, we have voted against VAT resolution and the budget resolution, and then at least 7 different acts. SLFP has decided not to vote with this government. And the people who have been voting right throughout for last 1.5 years wants to come and be part of this alliance and want to. I mean, do you think people will believe in us? Do you think people will have confidence in us?
So the plan is to accept them or to reject them? What's the plan?
No, first of all, there are time and time again, all of us have in politics, certain decisions we can always, agree to disagree, and we can always revise. But the fact remains, if you want to be with the government or against the government. The fact is, if you want to be with the government, then you can't be critical with the government. If you want to be opposition, then you have to be opposition with being critical with the government. So you can't be at the middle, being part of the government and be critical with the government for the next election's sake. So SLFP cannot entertain anybody who is going to be part of the government at this moment of time. If they want to join, they must leave their current status of their commitment with the government. Then they are welcome to come back and then work towards against the government campaign.
But Mr. Sumathipala, now there is a call from the general public for young leaders to come out, for new faces to be appointed. Now, many of the people you refer to are pretty much all of the old faces that we've seen in Parliament. They've crossed over several times. They continue, as in your own words, they continue to have one foot here, one foot there, just to, serve their own agenda and their own future in their political career. So is the SLFP at least in a position, the SLFP, the UPFA, the General Alliance, are they in a position to look at new leadership and to provide an opportunity for them?
Well, that is something our seniors must very serious look at. I mean, people are coming with slogans and say no to 70 plus. People are saying, if you are 70 plus, you should be retired. That's the line of thinking people are having today.
Yes.
Youngsters are not at all even willing to work with people who are over 60 years of age. So we need seniors. I mean, seniors' experience is very important. I mean, they need to advise, guide us. They know what has happened in the past by taking certain decisions.
But that doesn't necessarily mean that they need to hold that position.
Absolutely. I mean, I think there should be hope. There should be expectation from a political party and a leadership. If there is no hope and there is no expectation, there is no reason for new blood to join us. They think, look here, these same old people, same caravan is coming again, and then that is some concern we have. I mean, we definitely have a concern what you are saying, And when we go around the country, we meet our districts, meet our electorates, meet all these people who are looking for a new government, new ideas, and new form of approach to this current situation. They are expecting us to draw some new blood who can communicate, interact, and give some kind of leadership with some experience. But yes, we have a serious problem in that. The names what I mentioned about the senior people of those parties, they are veterans, but they are not really position hungry kind of people. They are always trying to guide us through and say, look, This is what happened in 1962, in 74, in whatnot. This is not going to be helpful for Sri Lankan economy. It's not going to bounce back or revive our economy. So therefore, obviously,
But with all their experience, with all their expertise, and their everything that comes with being a veteran in politics and economics, whatever, Sri Lanka's economy crashed.
I think we haven't looked at it properly. If you look at why it has been in this situation, we haven't identified our priorities right for our investment. We have the highways, we have got ports, we have got airports, and all our schools been pumped a lot of money over the last 3 decades. All our infrastructure has gone up to a certain level. We have $80 billion outstanding, almost 40 billion sovereign bonds. If you look at how we can service, whatever money we have borrowed, we should have invested that wisely where we can get the return on investment.
But we invested them in
if you have taken your priorities against your with your wish of politicization for you to get back to power again and again to keep people happier, obviously this is the result you get. So I'm one person who articulated for the purpose of having a parliamentary budget office. I'm happy it is now passed and budget office is in place. But I've studied all over the world, the budget office has to be like Attorney General's department or
an independent body.
Auditor General's department, like it has to be an independent body with expertise where you must pay them well. You can't have, in our private sector we have a finance director or finance manager, we paid ₹500,000 to 1.5 to 2 million rupees a month. You throw about 80,000 rupees, do you think you will get a quality economist or advisor coming to the budget office in Sri Lanka? You can't do that. Therefore, you should set aside a budget, have a CEO kind of DG, not only under the wing of Parliament. Obviously, the Parliament salary the scale is so low. So you can't have a budget office who is going to advise the Parliament of Sri Lanka, guiding the Parliament of Sri Lanka about our economic roadmap or economic policies and so on and so forth. You can't have people paying pittance. Who's going to come? So obviously it is eyewash again, and I'm sad. It should have been set aside a budget allocation from the national budget, 1% or whatever. It should be independent. It should not be they should be able to hire some top people and get them to give a proper budget office, independent body which is guiding. The whole of us can be, say for example, we borrow $1 million or $100 million or $1 billion. Then we have to reason out and say, look, we want a highway from Colombo to Hambantota. This is the tourist gain we are getting. These are the stopover. These are the exits. First 2 years we are doing this way. Return on investment is going to be this much. These are the gains we make. So then there should be a public debate. People should have a right to know how we are going to spend our money, because it's all taxpayers' money. So I think that gap, the politicization, and also certain segment of people have taken. I'm somewhat baffled with taking the 20th Amendment away, because it has given a lot of power to the Parliament, which is headed by Prime Minister. So that was the 19th Amendment, the main core value. So when you have taken the 20th Amendment taken all the power back again from the Prime Minister, given it back to the executive, and that executive has to go home. And now we have an interim executive with all sorts of power, unlimited power, not elected by the people of this country. But now we are settled with that situation, which we have no control of the Parliament economy, or rather the budget control. So these are fundamental mistakes we have done.
Mr. Sumathipala, just according to your reading, since we're in the final few minutes of the show, what do you see for Sri Lanka's future? Now, you've been in this political game, if I may call it so loosely, for quite some time.
Yep.
According to what you see is happening on the ground right now, with the rising popularity of the NPP and the so-called alliance between the SLPP and the UNP, and the SJB now going around collecting their forces or mustering their forces as well. How do you see the outcome of the presidential election that's to come?
Well, if you go down to the people now, more than 80% of the people are against the government. It doesn't matter who runs the country.
It doesn't matter who contests from the other side.
80% of the country is against the government in power. So if you want to form a candidate from this government, they'll fail. There's no doubt about it. The people are against the current government. So amongst the 80% of the remaining people, minimum, that is, it can be even more, it will be the opposition who are representing truly against this government will have a chance of forming a government.
Or winning the presidential election, because that's first. It's important that we draw distinction between the presidential election and a parliamentary election, because at a presidential election, there can be only one winner.
Well, as it is, my reading is people are looking for the presidential candidates different to the parliament election.
Exactly.
People are not going to leave the country in a hand of a person who is not experienced, no parliamentary leadership experience with the government side or the opposition side. Or
the people deemed that to be all right when it was Gotabaya Rajapaksa.
Well, it was totally backed by Mahinda Rajapaksa.
Okay. So that was the faith that was placed in Mahinda Rajapaksa that spilt over to Gotabaya Rajapaksa. Is that what you mean?
People voted for Mahinda. People really voted for Mahinda. 80% of them have voted for Mahinda Rajapaksa. Gotabaya Rajapaksa may have had the last, few percentages with the upper hand at that point of time, because with the Saran attack in the, and various things took place over last few years, and also alliance was a failure between Maithripala Sirisena and Ranil Wickremesinghe. People are fed up with that situation. So coming back to your question, a presidential election, people are looking at a different way. They're not going to look at like who is going to be your elected member of the district and your next minister and so on. So it will be a race if Mr. Ranil Wickremesinghe is going to contest. If Sajith Premdas has declared already, is contesting. So has Anura Kumar Dissanayake. So my reading is for a presidential election, the JVP will find it very difficult to sustain this rhythm. But for a general election if it comes earlier, then they have a better networking at the grassroots level, because I don't think all of us will think twice, can we leave this government in the hands of the head of the state, leader of the country, in the hands of someone like, it's not fair to say that Anura Dissanayake, because he is making an impact especially after the Aragale. He was never a part of Aragale. After Aragale, he made a good impact because he was talking on behalf of the people. Poorest of poor, people who have difficulties. Therefore, his popularity as an individual is good. That doesn't mean, by knowing what we know in politics, the network we have, grassroots, island-wide branches, the network we have with the representatives, the women's, the children, the Mahanayaka and all those, if you look at, it is not easy for a non-traditional party with a 3% of a base to cultivate to a presidential is impossible at this moment of time, in my opinion. But for a general election, they have a better network to represent, because it's a different way that people are looking at a general election than a presidential.
So the Sri Lanka Freedom Party, the UPFA, the other alliances that you've created, you're also in the opposition. So is there any plans to field a candidate from the SLFP, UPFA?
Of course, we have a very formidable candidate.
You'll have a candidate. You all selected already.
No. We are not going to announce. We're not going to.
No. I don't want a name. I just want to know if it's finalized.
No, we of course.
Or are you looking at a few candidates?
I'm speaking on behalf of two things here. Two alliances. I'm the general secretary. That is Nidahas Janata Sandhan, which is the Freedom People's Alliance, and UPFA, United People's Freedom Alliance. Both alliances, I am the general secretary.
So I thought the Freedom People's Alliance has already pledged their support to the SJB. Has it not?
Not at all. Not at all.
But there are several members from your party, including Dilan Pereira, Professor G.L. Pires, who have gone and pledged their support, along with Nalaka Godaheva.
No, they are from the Nidahasa Sabhagya.
Okay.
Then there's another group from Uttara Lanka. So we had 6 different units to form that alliance. So no, that is not so. But what I'm trying to say, there's a huge demand and a requirement at the ground level, at the grassroots level, against this government, for everyone to get together, rally around to beat this government. That's number one. Therefore, we as a leading left movement, we have a responsibility and we have a requirement to represent that and give that support and the leadership to make sure next candidate, next election come what may, that we have a role to play, which we will play that role to make sure we will support the candidate who will win.
Thank you very much, Mr. Thilanga Sumathipala, former Deputy Speaker and also the General Secretary of the United People's Freedom Alliance, for joining us on our show and expressing your candid views to the general public. Thank you very much to all our viewers out there for tuning in to another episode. Until we meet again, take care and God bless.
Thank you.